The court has been arranged. Not gathered. Arranged. Every candle burning at full capacity on a Tuesday afternoon. Every elder alpha seated in the formal configuration reserved for territorial summits and succession ceremonies. And in the honored guest chair, a Highland princess who arrived early enough to choose her position, whose eyes have not moved from the servants' entrance since before the session was called. Queen Mother Isadora stands at her son's right hand. She does not sit when she is conducting. And the king has gone very still, the kind of still that powerful men go when they have understood something too late to stop it. Then the servants' entrance opens. No herald, no title. Just a girl in a gray dress who spent this morning sorting lavender, walking into the most deliberately assembled court in the Northern Territories. And her pace changes before she has a thought about it. Her feet know. Her body knows. The understanding is 3 steps behind, racing to catch up. She finds him, the way she always finds him in rooms. Privately, quickly, without letting it show. And what she finds on his face in the half-second before he controls it stops something in her chest cold. Not guilt. Shame. The large, irreversible kind. The kind that does not arrive by accident. The kind a man carries into a room he built around a decision he already made and cannot unmake. She has never seen that on him before. She catalogs it in one clause and moves her attention forward because that is how she survives this palace. Quietly, precisely, without allowing herself to react to difficult things in real time. She does not yet know that what she just filed away is the most important piece of information in the room. She doesn't understand yet. He does. Lena was summoned by a note she did not question. 3 years in this palace had trained the questions out of her. You go where you are told. You complete the task. You return. The handwriting was unfamiliar. That was not unusual. She came directly from the still room, still carrying the smell of dried lavender on her hands, still wearing the gray dress she had worked in all morning. She did not stop to change. She does not have a version of herself prepared for a room like this. That, she will understand later, was entirely the point. She takes her position near the servants' alcove by instinct, visible enough to receive instruction, close enough to the wall to disappear if not needed. But the court is not looking at the alcove. The court is looking at her. She reads the room the way she always reads rooms, starting at the perimeter, moving inward, cataloging without reacting. The candles. Full capacity. Wrong for a Tuesday. The elder alphas. Territorial configuration. Not administrative. The Queen Mother, standing, which means she is conducting something that has an intended outcome already decided. 5 accurate reads. Then 1 catastrophically wrong conclusion. Her conclusion. Whatever this is, I am adjacent to it. A functional presence. Incidental. Easily dismissed once the task is complete. She has spent 3 years teaching herself that she is never the target. That power moves through this palace like weather, and she is simply someone who has learned to read the sky. She finds Kale past the king, past the gold and the court posture, at the man underneath. He is already looking at her. And the shame is still there, controlled now, managed, buried under the performance. But she knows where to look. She has always known where to look. Then Isadora turns to the room. Her voice is soft and final. The voice of a woman who has never needed volume because she has never needed to ask twice. We are grateful for the presence of Princess Seraphine of the Highland Court. whose family's alliance we are honored to deepen today. A pause, precisely timed. The kind of pause that has been rehearsed. There is first a small matter of court order to attend to. She does not look at Lena. She does not need to. From the honored guest chair, Princess Seraphine makes one small confirming adjustment of her gaze. She was told what to expect. It has arrived. Kale speaks. His voice carries without effort, the biological authority of an alpha king in his own court. A sound that does not ask a room to quiet. It simply makes quietness happen. The words are prepared. She can hear the architecture in them, built and tested somewhere private before being deployed here, in public, aimed at a room rather than a person. His eyes do not find her. The court reads this as authority, the composure of a man who has made a decision and does not require acknowledgement. She reads it as the only mercy the architecture left him. Lena Voss has served the palace with distinction. Her service is hereby concluded with full severance accorded her station. Clean. Political. The court nods with the small, satisfied movement of a hierarchy reaffirming itself, the biological pleasure of a social order confirming that everything is exactly as it should be. She stands in the servants' alcove, and she listens. And she does not move, because she has not yet heard the word that crosses the line. She is still cataloging, still reading, still 3 steps behind the thing that is about to land in her sternum and become permanently true. Any association beyond the professional was neither sanctioned nor appropriate to her station.
A pause. Isadora does not move, does not prompt, simply waits with the patience of a woman who prepared this room for exactly this moment and knows precisely how it ends. And the king fills the pause, the way she knew he would, and constitutes a misjudgment on my part and on hers. The court exhales, one long collective breath of satisfaction, and the word misjudgment lands, not like a blow, worse than that, like something becoming permanently, irreversibly, officially true in the record of this court, while she stands and listens to it happen. Not just an ending, a rewriting. 6 months of Tuesday evenings in the still room, the second visit when he didn't have to come back, the third, the specific, chosen, mutual weight of something real, something she had never let herself name, because naming it felt dangerous, but had let herself feel, because feeling it, at least, had belonged to her. All of it retroactively renamed, called nothing, called error, installed in the official record of this court as a mistake made by 2 people who should have known better. He did not just end it, he erased it. Kale's hands close at his sides. He still does not look at her. The court leans forward with the collective hunger of 400 wolves waiting for the final beat of the performance. The curtsy, the lowered eyes, the quiet exit of a girl who understands her place and will now return to it. The hierarchy holds its breath for her submission. The architecture Isadora built holds its breath for the one thing it requires to stand: her agreement to disappear. She looks at the king who taught her what it felt like to be chosen, and she does not move. The silence after a refusal is different from other silences. She understands this the moment the first word leaves her mouth, because the room changes before she finishes it. A shift in atmospheric pressure. 400 wolves registering something outside the script and pulling back from it simultaneously, the way animals pull back from something they do not yet have a name for. She does not raise her voice. No.
One word. The court does not know what to do with it. Isadora's composure holds, but something behind her eyes sharpens, recalculates, reaches for the contingency she built into this room for exactly this possibility. You don't get to call it a misjudgment. She looks at Kale. Not the king. Kale, past the gold sash, past the ceremony, past every layer of performance he has ever worn in public. At the man who came back to the East Corridor the second Tuesday, and the third, and every Tuesday after that, because he wanted to. Because it was the 1 hour of his week that no one had arranged for him. Not because it's inconvenient now. A beat. She lets it sit in the room like something heavy, set deliberately on a table. If you want this court to believe that her voice does not waver, it has the quality of something that has reached its floor and is simply standing on it, not performing strength, not manufacturing courage, just a woman who has found the place inside herself that will not bend and is speaking from there. If you want me to believe that, the candles are the only sound. The court has forgotten how to breathe. Then say it properly. She holds his gaze across the full length of the hall. Look at me. And tell me it wasn't real. She does not look away. In the honored guest chair, Seraphine has gone very still. Not the composed stillness of someone watching an expected outcome arrive, but the focused stillness of someone watching unexpected data accumulate and rapidly updating everything she came here believing. The alliance she was brought to witness was premised on a king in full command of his environment, his personal arrangements resolved, his attention undivided, and his authority absolute. She is recalibrating. Quietly, precisely. With the unhurried intelligence of a woman who understands that what happens in the next 30 seconds will travel far beyond this room. Kale's hands open at his sides. Not fists. Open. The physical posture of a man who has released the shape he was holding and has not yet found a new one. A man standing at the exact edge of the performance, one breath away from the place where it ends and whatever is underneath it begins. He looks at her. For the first time since she walked through that door, through the speech, through the word, through the erasure delivered in front of witnesses, he actually looks at her. Not past her, not through her. At her. The way he looked at her in the still room, in the dark, when no one was watching. Then Isadora moves. One step forward. Measured. The practiced motion of a woman who has managed every room she has ever entered, and is reaching now for the contingency she installed in this one. She says his name. Not Your Majesty. His name. The private diminutive she has used since his childhood. The one that has always meant, fall back into line. Remember what you are. Remember who built what you stand on. And in that single step, that single word, she makes visible the entire infrastructure of his reign. Every room arranged before he entered it. Every decision made before he was consulted. The architecture of a man performing authority inside walls his mother built. He could have endured Lena's refusal. With enough performance, enough time, enough of the cold management he has been executing his entire reign, he might have survived it, might have held the shape of the king long enough to let the architecture close around her and complete what it was built to do. What he cannot endure is his mother arriving to finish the erasure her son proved unable to complete. That specific indignity being managed in public by the person who built the cage, is the thing that finally breaks it. He does not snap toward Lena. He snaps away from containment. He looks at Isadora. The court goes very still. A different kind of stay from before. Not the anticipatory stillness of a room waiting for a performance to complete, but the instinctive stillness of 400 wolves registering that something has shifted in the hierarchy, and none of them yet know which way it will fall. His eyes have changed. The amber has shifted to something darker and less managed, the color of something that has been held too long and is no longer pretending to be held. He looks at his mother for a long moment. She does not step back, but she wants to. Then he looks back at Lena. The dais is 3 steps above the court floor. It has been 3 steps above the court floor for 200 years of Draven reign. The king stands on the dais. It is not a rule that was written, because it was never questioned, because in 200 years of Draven kings, not one of them has ever had a reason to step off it mid-court, in front of the full assembly, in front of foreign dignitaries, in front of his mother. Kale steps off it. 1 step down. Then 2. Then he is on the court floor, and the room has stopped. Not one guard moves. Not one elder speaks. The Highland princess rises fractionally from her chair. Not standing, not protesting, simply the involuntary physical response of a body recalibrating its understanding of what it is witnessing. The court parts around him, the way courts part around things that are no longer performing their containment. Not by decision, not by instruction, simply because the body knows to make space for something it does not have a category for. He crosses the floor. He stops 6 feet from her. His hands are open at his sides, and he has run entirely, completely, irreversibly out of the performance. Lena. Not a title, not a dismissal. Her name, said the way he has only ever said it in the still room, in the dark, when the choice was entirely private and entirely his, when there was no court, no crown, no mother conducting from the right-hand position. Just a man and a name. He said, like he'd been looking for it. Said now in front of everyone. Every syllable of what that word means in his mouth, landing in the open air of the most powerful court in the Northern Territories, with 400 witnesses and 1 foreign princess, and his mother hearing every last unmanaged, unperformed, undeniable weight of it. Into the silence that follows, from the honored guest chair, in a voice calibrated to carry no further than it needs to. Courts are interesting things, said quietly, to no one in particular. In the tone of a woman making a private observation in a room where she has just updated her information about what kind of court this is, what kind of king stands in it, and what that information is worth when she carries it home. Isadora goes still. Not the controlled stillness she arrived with, the involuntary stillness of a woman who has just understood that one of her pieces has moved independently, that the witness she positioned to carry the official version has just filed this moment under a different category entirely. The trap is still standing. Every piece of it. The candles, the seating, the architecture. Isadora spent 8 months constructing around a single intended outcome. It is all still here. Still visible. Still perfectly built. It is simply not holding the same person it was built for. Lena Voss stands on the floor of the most powerful court in the Northern Territories, in her gray dress, with her lavender-scented hands, and she looks at a king who stepped off his dais for the first time in 200 years of Draven history. A king who just said her name in front of everyone.
a king whose mouth is open.
And the real choice is still ahead. Not made, not resolved, not the ending. The beginning of the only question that has ever actually mattered in this room. What does a man do when the performance ends and the truth is standing in front of him and cannot be managed back into silence? And every witness in the hall is watching to see which version of himself he chooses to be. The court holds its breath. Seraphine sits with the still assessing patience of a woman who came here to witness one thing and is now deciding what this other thing is worth. Isadora stands at the right hand of a stage that no longer belongs to her. And Lena waits. She has said the true thing. Now she waits to find out if it was enough.